Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Pendulum on Lagos Television, where we discuss topical national issues. This afternoon on the program, we'll be looking at the 2027 general election timetable, as well as the amendment of the Electoral Act, which is before members of the National Assembly. We all know that since INEC released that timetable, it's been generating different kind of reactions from different quarters. And of course, the Electoral Amendment Bill is before members of the National Assembly, and we saw the kind of protest that we witnessed at the National Assembly. My name is Ajibola Ojoshola, welcoming you formally to the program. We'll take a very quick break on the program at this moment to bring you some of the summary of the trending news in the polity. When we come back, we will be meeting my guest, who is somebody that is very passionate about transparent election in the country. Stay with us. You are still watching The Pendulum on Lagos Television. Once again, our topic of discussion for today is the 2027 general election timetable and, of course, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill before members of the National Assembly. And we have joining us virtually on the program this afternoon, Comrade Ene Obi. She's the Executive Director, Ene Obi Center for Development, and equally the former convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. It's our pleasure to have you on the program.
Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon.
Yes, thank you.
We also saw what played out at the premises of the National Assembly about the amendment of the Electoral Act. As we speak, do you have any updates as regards that amendment?
Even before the 2023 general election, there was an issue to talk about the transmission, that direct transmission that we're talking about. And transmission was actually granted. So transmission is in the Electoral Act of 2022. It is there. What is new, one of the things that was the worry why the amendment was because we feel that whatever they are doing, INEC, promised that there was going to be electronic transmission, a direct transmission of the results. They did that for the National Assembly, as you remember, for 2023. No glitches for National Assembly, but when it came to the presidential election, they used their guideline to circumvent that aspect, because I tell them one of the things is not about even the rules. Yes, the rules are giving, the law is giving, the policy is giving, but the implementation, what it demanded is that let there be a mandatory transmission simultaneously. That's real-time transmission. Let Nigerians see who is voting and where we are going, because it is like going back. In 1993 election, the election that MKO Abiola won, before the end of the election, as it was ending, even at that time that we didn't have electronic transmission, because the agents at the polling units take their work seriously, everybody knew what the result was before the end of the result. Despite the fact that it was truncated by General Ibrahim Babangida, the election was annulled. And that's why civil society reacted so seriously at the annulment, because that was one decent election. And so we come down here now. And so we say, give a mandatory, transmission. What are we talking about? Or what are we talking about? What they are saying like that, that in some places there is no network. When you have your WhatsApp messages, where you get to and there is no network, you still send your messages. Yeah. By the time you get out of network, the messages will go without you even knowing. And that's the same thing with the Beavers machine.
Okay.
The Beavers machine is a game changer. And that is something that we need to be able to deal with. And they are saying, no, put it now in the law. If you are going to put it in the law, which law are you giving us? There is no need to tell us about the transmission. If you are not making it mandatory transmission at that time, then actually there is no law and there is no need to amend. But if you are amending now, we say, don't let people, because from the civil society perspective, we are not the politicians, we are not the ones going on board, but we are saying make it transparent, let Nigerians begin to believe. Because we mobilize a lot of Nigerians for 2023 general election. They want their votes to count. They want to see that the votes count. And if you are representing us, vote for the vote. Vote for, real-time transmission of the result, so that you don't give that lacuna to INEC. So why are you playing us to the the same kind of hand. Are you happy that only 8 million people voted for the president to become a president when you have a population of more than 200 million? 62% of them are young people, and they can't believe in the system anymore. You are not investing in the human capital. The only thing they can do is change government when it is necessary. And for us in the civil society, we just want to appeal, to everyone. We want Nigerians to love and to trust again. This is one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
Comrade Brother, if I can come in here.
They're using their poverty. Okay, yes, please.
If I can come in here, the attitude of both chambers of the National Assembly towards the amendment of this Electoral Act, what does it say about the quality and the conscience of people representing us in the National Assembly?
Well, whatever is happening right now, at the National Assembly, it depends. Everybody comes from the communities. They come from the constituencies. Their members represent Nigeria because each one has a constituency. And that is why we are saying in this amendment bill, in any amendment, Nigerians want to know. Let it be live. Let Nigerians look at it when they are voting so we know who is voting and who is not voting. It's very, very important that you are representing your own constituency, because what you are seeing now, you are seeing a Nigerian that is drifting towards a one-party state. If you are comfortable that you have captured, like the ruling party for it.
Again, our topic this afternoon is the 2027 election timetable and the amendment of the Electoral Act, which is before members of the National Assembly. We saw protests here and there within the premises of the National Assembly last week with civil society organizations calling on members of the National Assembly to indeed do the amendment to this particular Electoral Act for us to have transparent, free and fair election in 2027. And beyond the amendment of the Electoral Act, we also saw the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, releasing the timetable for the 2027 general elections. Of course, the presidential election and the election for members of the National Assembly is expected to take place on February 28th, while that of governorship and members of state house of assemblies will be taking place on the 6th of March. Of course, there are protests in some quarters as well over the timetable of INEC, saying that Muslim faithful will still be fasting at that particular time and they might not have the energy to come out and vote. So hopefully members of National Assembly are expected to also tinker with that timetable so that everybody can be carried along as we look forward to 2027 general elections. And all eyes are on INEC, all eyes are on members of the National Assembly, hoping that the kind of electoral bill or act that will be given to Nigerians at the end of the day will give them confidence that indeed they are representing the interests of Nigerians as senators and members of House of Reps. We'll take a very short break on the program at the moment. We'll be right back.
What is crucial is the fact that you manage the process to the extent there will be no confusion, no disenfranchisement of Nigerians, and that we are all going to see democracy flourish. It is time that we have confidence in our system. No matter how good the system is, it's managed by the people, promoted by the people, and the result is finalized by the people. In fact, for final results, you are not going to be talking to the computer, you are going to be talking to human beings who will announce the final results. And when you look at the crux of various arguments, maybe Nigeria should question our broadband capability. How technically are we today? How technically will we be tomorrow to answer the call of either real-time or no?
All Nigerians wanted was that in the IREF portal, which is a kind of viewing center of the outcome of most of the polling unit results, that they would like to see that transmitted electronically. We have included that in the amendment that has just been signed into Act of Parliament. But we also took cognizance of areas where there may not be any network, where there may not be communication capacities and availability. And we said, since the polling unit result comes in from EC8A, which is signed by the presiding officer, signed by the agents, and signed in the presence of security agents, copies are given to all. Then we can use that as a primary source of collation at that unit. And then, of course, we transmit it, even if there is no network at that time. Once we step out of there, maybe towards the ward center or the local government center, it will drop into the IREF, and people will still be able to view.
And before that break, I was actually asking you if indeed members of the National Assembly are representing the interests of Nigerians towards our quest in having a credible election come 2027.
You know, when you go into politics, as you are going to politics, you are going to an office where you are paid for. The Nigerian people are your employers. And you need to take it seriously. When we want something, therefore you need to do it. You are working on the assemblies before them. And then we are now having the 10th assembly.
Breakdown of the timetable of the 2027 general elections as released by the Independent National Electoral Commission in line with Section 28, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act of 2022, which empowered or gave the commission the power to give 360 days notice before another round of election in the country. And that was exactly what INEC did by releasing that timetable last week. We still have with us Comrade Ene Obi. She's the Executive Director, the Ene Obi Center for Development. And before that disruption by the network, she was actually speaking as to the attitude of members of the National Assembly on the amendment of the Electoral Act. You have the floor, Comrade.
Thank you very much again. I hope that, you know, beyond us looking at the National Assembly, we should look at ourselves as well. The quality of citizenship, the quality of ourselves will make a whole lot of difference during elections. How are we ready to hold ourselves accountable as we are holding the members of the National Assembly accountable? The issue of transparency and accountability in elections, you know, we are doing a lot of things. You can see INEC has come up with a new timetable. For example, they have come up with a timetable for the 2027 general election. Has everybody asked INEC for their audited account for the money they asked for in 2023 and they were given? And because the kind of fraud and flawed election that we have is some aspect. Of course, we have some positives, but what we have, what we need to learn to hold our leaders accountable. Now, what we are hoping with is we need clear terms. They should not, I keep saying this, that they don't speak to Nigerians as if they are not reasonable people. Nigerians are highly educated. When you compare Nigeria to many other countries, you will find out that Nigerians are highly literate, and a lot of them are literate, and you should not be talking with them and looking at them as if they don't understand what you're saying. We are watching them. Let the National Assembly know that we are watching them. You know, the protest is still going on, and we will mobilize Nigerians against them. But we should not be against each other. We should be thinking, what is it that you want? If you think you have done a lot of campaigns, and Nigerians need to change their attitude. Those who are, I know we are in a kind of a survival mode, because when you have more than 139 million Nigerians living in multi-dimensional poverty, what that means too is that they are trying to survive. So when somebody gives them money to do something for them, you know, they do it. What you are doing is weaponizing, you know, poverty itself, instead of granting them the kind of governance or leading them and taking care of them the way they should to be good Nigerians. What is the government doing in terms of investing in the human capital? Is the Nigerian government investing? They are giving our children loans. When all of them at this stage, majority of those who are in the National Assembly today, were giving scholarship to go and study. And that was a Nigerian then that was qualifying their own citizens for their economy. Because when you give the young people scholarship, you are not doing them any favor. You are qualifying them and telling them to believe in Nigeria. And so because you have invested in them, they will do anything for Nigeria. But how many Nigerians want to die for Nigeria now?
Wow.
Because you are not investing in them. And so what are you doing for them? They are getting poorer. We have so many graduates that are milling around the streets without jobs. Jobs are going to those who know who is carrying one, you know, who recommends who, and so on and so forth.
To those who are
what
connected.
that is telling you is that the space is squeezing for you and your children, whether you like it or not, for you and your relatives, for you and your constituency. Because people come out now, they have to get note from you before they go somewhere. This is not the Nigeria that some of us were growing up in. You need to take care of the needs
because of our
Nigerians.
time, I really want us to manage our time well. Looking at the breakdown of the 2027 election released by INEC, would you say that you are pleased? Because looking at it critically, you would realize that INEC actually gave that window of 360 days notice in line with Section 28, subsection 1 of the Amendment Act of 2022.
You know, when you are looking, that is why we are telling them to address the issues that they should address, not the issues that they should not address. Look at what came out of Senate was looking like now you bring down the days to 180 days. And then you give notice to parties. Is it 60 days or whatever? It's too short for INEC. General election is Nigeria has a huge land mass. There is a huge coverage. There is a lot of planning to be done. And then you are asking them to shorten it down, let them do the needful. And the president should also look at, if you want to leave you have been opportune to get to where you are today as the president of Nigeria. However you got there is not what we are talking now. But how you leave that place is another. If you want to leave a treasure for Nigerians, conduct a free and fair election because but the responsibility at the end of the day lies with Nigerians. Even the act that we have already now, if you look at it, if Nigerians are sincere with themselves, if you go to the polling unit, because you can see in Ghana's election is 2028. Do you know they have conducted their primaries already? They know the candidates who are coming for the elections already. And Nigeria is trying to shorten it down. When that allows Ghana to have, a good time. India has how long? India has 980 million registered voters. About more than 60 million voted. 640 million voted. And the election was declared in one day. Everybody's election counted. And so let our election count. Even if they are talking of the laws now, the humans, the Nigerians that are manning, stand upright for Nigeria.
So what were the flaws that you observed in 2023 that you think INEC should work upon as we look forward to 2027 elections?
INEC had a lot of preparation, and because we were involved directly, from the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, we were involved. On behalf of Action Aid 2, where I was the country director at the time, we were directly involved because INEC complained of logistics, the issues of logistics. And I want to let you know, that we had a meeting, we had to look for money, write proposals night and day, because the INEC chairman then said his huge problem was on logistics. Why would that? An example of it was when NACO, that's the National Aviation Handling Company, was explaining. He said, how can you fly 737 to Sokoto, without letting them know? Because a crane on ground that will break whatever to lift whatever from from the plane was not there. And so it delayed the election for a very long time. You know, the Sokoto axis where they are supposed to take things there. And because of that, we looked for money and we brought everybody that ever has anything to do with distribution of materials on election day. We brought them to Radisson Blu in Lagos. You know, ordinarily, Action Aid as an anti-poverty agency will not take people to that expensive hotel. But they said they wanted there, and we brought them. We brought the Nigerian Army logistics, the Nigerian Air Force logistics, everybody, anybody, even Central Bank of Nigeria, every one of them, everybody was in a single room from 8 to 6 p.m. each of the days. The INEC chairman was there. So that we can talk, we talked with the National Association of Road Transport Owners, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Maritime Workers, and all of them. The maritime workers say, tell us how many boats you need and from where. Let's get ready. National Union of Road Transport Workers and Owners, they said, tell us how many you need. But what they do is that when they say we need 1,000 vehicles, an election administrator, you know, can say, okay, I want 600, not 1,000 again. And you know, some of them can also be held on the road because of roadworthiness. They say, tell us some time so that we can organize ourselves. We did all of that, and we went into, you know, close to the election. And they told us that they were going to go on real-time transmission of the election results. And we believed them. When there were some rumors that came that INEC was not going to transmit live, you know, real-time, we confronted the INEC chairman. And the INEC chairman said, and who is telling you that? We are going to transmit real-time. But what did he do? He used the INEC guideline. And that's why we are saying don't give that lacuna, so that they don't use it another time. But he didn't use it for the National Assembly election, which means the humanness, the quality of the Nigerian went in. Whoever brutalized him and made him to do what he did. The rest is history now. He's no longer the INEC chairman. Just like the seat I'm occupying, the seat you are occupying, you are doing your best. Okay. Let's stand upright for this big country, this beautiful country of the black race.
Okay, before we let you go, let's also talk about the special seat now, special seat for women. I know that you were at the National Assembly recently, of course, protesting that members of the National Assembly will need to amend our constitution to accommodate more women into the business of lawmaking. How far has it been?
Well, thank you very much for bringing us to that, the special seats for women. I want to say, first of all, that we say a big thank you to the House of Representatives. You know, to the leadership, that's the Speaker, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, you know, and the Deputy Speaker, you know, Honorable Benjamin Kanu, you know, for the way they have taken the bill, for Nigerian women, and to the Senate itself. You know, because our bill has never gone this far. Women's bill have never gone this far. They went for zonal hearing. They went for, you know, the different zones. There was a huge hearing in Lagos, so I was in that of Lagos. And then you had, you know, for both House of Representatives and Senate, they went for the hearing. And then we had the national, you know, hearing as well. And when we went through that, so when we came back from that hearing, you know, the leadership also gave us the permission to be at the National Assembly, open the space for us to be able to lobby members directly, and that has been wonderful. We have never had it this good, that they made us close to them, they opened their doors, and we could go, we are greeting them as they are passing into their chambers, you know, we are greeting them, and also we had an information desk, seated, a gender desk that seated there, that they came to ask questions, and many of them signed for. But signing alone is not enough. Whether you vote on that thing is another. We are talking of inclusion, and what this inclusion is seeking. You have the Federal Character Commission, which you use to correct the imbalance of the diversity in your population for the civil service. We are asking for the same thing, because it's a big shame that in 14 houses of assembly, you don't have a single woman. And you have women committees there. At the National Assembly level, in the Senate, you have 109, only 4 women. That is tokenism. And then in the House of Representatives, 360 with 16 women. Their voices are not there. How many committees do you have? So where are the women representing women is a critical issue, it's a development issue. And what we are saying, when we say women, who are the women? Your daughters, your sisters, those you went to school with, that you were schoolmates with. You went to law school, you have thousands of them. We have millions of professors now. Even in our professional life, in terms of appointing position, the government is not appointing enough women. You have a huge, you have government agencies, they are in their hundreds. How many is being headed by women? You can't count up to 4 of them. And so what are you doing? It's a shame on Nigeria. Because even when the legislators go for meetings, I can tell you that in their meetings they look at, I think there were several meetings that even the National Assembly members confirmed to us that they wanted to hold a meeting. There were all men there, and the leaders of those organizations refused to meet them because they say, where are your women? So this is in a way allowing more Nigerian women to come into decision, because the quality of any decision depends on who is in the boardroom. That's what brings out decision. You cannot, you don't know why the shoe is pinching. So you can't point it out. So allow women. Nigerian maternal mortality, we are in the last 5 in the world. Because they are not, if you don't have hospitals today, who is suffering? When you say you have more than 100 million people below the poverty line, half of them are women. Maybe half of that, are having children.
Okay.
And when you have confusion, like we had in one case recently, where the lady, a young woman who was impregnated by somebody who even knocked her off, she was going to have a baby, and they said CS. Now the hospitals in Abuja were on strike. The general hospitals were on strike. The girl had to go to Suleja. She went to Suleja and had a baby. They wouldn't release her because she needed to cover a bill of about 100,000.
Wow.
And you can't go to the private hospitals where about 300. So every woman is working on a maternity death row.
Okay. All right. Let's be hopeful that members of the National Assembly will do the needful, of course, amend the Constitution to accommodate more women in the Senate and, of course, the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. But as much as we have criticized... As much as we have criticized members of the National Assembly, of course, expecting that INEC will do better in 2027 than it did in 2023, what are your expectations from the people, from the electorate themselves? Because oftentimes when there is election, some Nigerians will sell their PVC or settle for stomach infrastructure.
I think I've said a lot on the issue of the quality of your citizenship. What's my quality? But the quality itself is in a difficulty because Nigerian children are finding it difficult to even feed. Many of them are feeding from the dustbin. And so you weaponize, their attitude. But we need to be able to stand strong for Nigeria. You need to refuse when they bring their rights and bring their things to come and bribe you. Because when they bribe you, when they go there, they are also going to take money. And many Nigerians, their attitude towards the politicians is very, very wrong. You want them to look for money. And somebody told me, he said, you go to campaign. Nobody is looking at you. They say, how much money do you have? Give us money. That's what you are giving attitude. When there is burial, you expect a politician to be throwing out money. Things are not like that. In Germany, the umpire of the German Electoral Commission, the umpire is a card-carrying member. He's a card-carrying member of a political party. But he has his professional job as an umpire. And when he was interviewed, he said, that's my professional line. I am a citizen first and foremost. And he is the one that declares the election. He does not connect the two of it. And when they even told him, why are you not using the machines? He said, Germans more than the machines. What does that say to all of us? Do we trust ourselves? Do we believe in ourselves? Can the Nigerian be a card-carrying member and deliver sane judgment? And that is what he's saying. But we need to look at citizenship as a special responsibility. It's a higher responsibility than your membership of your family, of your anything that you are at. You have to be upright for Nigeria. That's the way to let it go. So the issue of quality of citizenship is a law. We're expecting a law from INEC that they will be transparent, that the new INEC chairman will write his name in gold to be able to do the needful. They know what to do. They have a system and they know what to do. But if they don't want to do it, the humans that are there, the politicians are also brutalizing INEC itself because the politicians want them to do their bid. Why would you employ people and you want them to do your bid when they have a special responsibility to the Nigerian people, including you? What about I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest? What is that happening to that? Are you faithful, loyal? If they all go on truth meter now, do you see what will happen? And so we call on every citizen of Nigeria, whether you are in the police force, whether you are in an environment that we are talking about, it's unfortunate if you are not behaving rightly. On the special seats bill, we are asking them to pass the bill.
Okay.
I know they have about 40 bills. Is a constitutional amendment issue. When they are voting, we want a clear and clean voting. We want to know who voted for what. And for women generally, we encourage women to go for the political positions at the level of at the council level, at the state level, at the national level. Women who cannot go should vote for women who dare it. If you have a governor who does not see any woman qualified to be a deputy, don't vote for them.
Okay.
If we have presidents too who are not looking at women, please don't vote for them. Go and vote. We can decide not to vote so that the men can vote for men, because what we have is male parliament. Thank you very much.
All right. As much as we are looking up to INEC to do the needful, what should be the role of National Orientation Agency as well as our security agents as well in ensuring that the 2027 election is far more credible than one we had in 2023?
There was a lot of attempt in the 2023 general election. Even before the 2023 general election, some of the off-cycle elections that we went from the civil society point, we do a lot with the security, because each time we go to any state, our first place of call is the police command, because that's the lead agency when it comes to elections. And some of them, we even hold inter-agency meeting with the civil society, and we are asking them. That's why we are saying, if you are a Nigerian, whether you are in INEC or you are in the police force or you are in the military or you are in civil defense or road safety or wherever you are, be a Nigerian, owe your allegiance to I pledge to Nigeria, my country. I have seen a place where at a voting point, when some people were trying to see, what they see with the bribery, the issue of the bribery is changing colors. They want you to show what you have voted, that they can record you for payment and all of that. I remember, a policeman got up and told the person to go away and let them do the right thing. The woman went there and voted and walked away. We can maintain. I know that, you see people, all of the things, you even see where they are bribing people, you are seeing it, but INEC is not doing anything. INEC has the authority according to the 2022, Electoral Act, that will tell you INEC must call for police intervention before they can intervene. If not, they cannot intervene, and that's the law. There was a lot of building, the IGP Arase retired and now late, did a lot of training in conjunction with the then IGP Baba Ahmed, to train the police force using the Electoral Act, because you need to let them know the act, you need to let them know the law before the 2023 general election. They do a lot. We also call on the security agencies that when it is time for deployment, you need to pay the dues, pay your officers, because sometimes they are deployed and then without payment and all. And so we also follow them out, follow them to say we need to hold them accountable. Let them do their business. The police are also exposed. And that's why as a woman, when I see that somebody is killed somewhere and whatever, when you kill a child, the umbilical cord of a mother is destroyed. And that is why with a woman, decisions are different. We need more women in the room to make a difference. Both in the police force, you are seeing the police force, so many senior officers, they hardly appointed. to be in the, so in the security agency, we encourage that the decisions are richer when you have quality in the room itself. And one side, a table does not stand on one stand, on one leg.
All right, we must thank you very much, Comrade Ene Obi, Executive Director, Ene Obi Center for Development. She's been speaking to us on the 2027 election timetable released by INEC, and of course, the Electoral Act amendment before members of the National Assembly. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. That's the show this afternoon. We've been looking at the 2027 general election timetable and, of course, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill before members of the National Assembly. All eyes will be on INEC as well as members of the National Assembly in our quest to have a better election come 2027. My name is Ajibola Ojeshola. Thanks for joining us on the program this week. We'll be back again next week at 3 p.m. talking politics as usual. Bye for now.